Now the light welterweights. Willie Buchanan, well, we saw him in a final here, but that was 4 years ago. And tonight his Welsh opponent, David Griffiths, is a man who reached this final last year, only to lose. And it's Buchanan of Scotland wearing the white vest with his club's name on the back, the Lockheed Boys Club, and his opponent, Dave Griffiths, from the Splot Adventure Club in Cardiff. Well, these two have met earlier this season in a Wales versus Scotland match in Cardiff, and Buchanan, the Scot on the right, picked up a points decision over Griffiths, so that'll give him a bit of confidence. Not much in the first round between them, more or less punch for punch. But this has been a good season for Buchanan in the white vest. He's had wins for Scotland against England, Wales and Ireland, so in a sense I suppose you could say he's picked up the triple crown. But Buchanan's nose now beginning to look a little worse for wear, and it's got a slight graze there up on the bridge of the nose, on the right-hand side of the nose. Griffiths, a warehouseman from Wales, and Buchanan is an unemployed motor mechanic. Well, Griffiths was in this final last year, and he lost on points to David Dent of the St Pancras Club, who's since turned professional. Buchanan was last here in 1980, but not at this weight. He boxed in the featherweight final then. That's 9 stone, and that's a stone lighter than the division he's in now. And he lost that night to Mohammed Hanif, rather unfortunately, because he was thrown out of the ring, disqualified for holding. Buchanan 22, and the Welshman Griffiths 20. Buchanan doing a bit of holding again. Picking up a few punches as he comes in, but ignoring them. Thumping his way inside and then holding. I'm told about it now. Hope he doesn't do that too much again. I'd hate to see him get thrown out a second time to Wembley. Create a record, an unenviable one at that. At the end of 2 rounds, here's Buchanan, who actually retired from boxing in 1981 and then came back last year to win the Scottish light welterweight title. Got to the ABA semi-finals, lost there to David Dent, who went on to become the champion. And now he's Scottish champion again, and now he's reached the ABA final. Lockheed, where he comes from, that's a few miles west of Dundee, on the northern shores of the Firth of Tay. And Griffiths from Cardiff, a warehouseman, plays golf and likes long-distance running, so there's plenty of stamina in that frame. Welsh champion for the 3rd year running. So 3 minutes left. And Buchanan, I suspect, just ahead. But there can't be very much in it. Scottish champion Buchanan in the white vest against the Welsh champion Griffiths. Buchanan's had a caution for holding, remember. Griffiths has been making steady improvement over the last 3 seasons. This man Buchanan's been around a long time, although he's only 22. He started boxing when he was 11. And he's a difficult man to get rid of. Pick up another caution for holding here if he's not careful. Yep, he has. Oh, it's a public warning, so it must have been the third. I must have missed one. That's a public warning. Now remember, 4 years ago, he was disqualified in this very ring on this same occasion on finals night for holding. Very close. Buchanan may well have forfeited his chance here of the title with that public warning. The other side holding this time. Both these men now sense that it could all be on the last minute. Frantic cry from the Welsh corner for Griffiths to work. Ducking. Buchanan forcing it hard towards the end. Last few seconds. Bell coming up. And there we are, 2 tired men. Now then, Griffiths was runner-up last year at this weight. Has he gone one better this year?
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by a majority decision and champion at light welterweight at 1984 national finals, Griffiths, blue corner.
And it's the Welsh champion who gets it. David Griffiths goes one better than last year. It was very close, a majority decision, and there's no doubt, I think, that Buchanan forfeited that title by getting a public warning for holding. Griffiths is the champion. Welterweight, 10 stone 8. And Mickey Hughes from London, a big hitter who's had 1 or 2 spectacular wins on his way to this final. And in Rob Thomas from Gloucester, he faces a man who's boxed several times for England. Second round, and it's Rob Thomas from Gloucester, the dark-skinned boxer, boxing southpaw here against this renowned big hitter from the famous St Pancras Club in London, Mickey Hughes. Thomas has paid 1 visit to the canvas, but didn't seem to be punched down, although he was given a standing 8 count, but he seemed to lose balance throwing his own punch and went over with his legs in the air, and he got counted to 8, but I don't think he was punched down. But there's no doubt that Mickey Hughes here really does bang him in, and he's had several good wins on his way to this final, including a 52nd win in the England semi-finals over a boy from Liverpool, and in an earlier round in the London Championships he put out the very much fancied Ori Jones of Barking in 2 rounds. He knocked him out in 2 rounds, and Jones was thought capable of winning this title, and at that time was ranked England's #1 welterweight. Thomas should be able to take care of himself. He's an England international, and he's got this awkward southpaw style, but he's being hustled around this ring, getting his own left hand in occasionally. can see from Hughes' face that he's picked up one or two punches from that left hand of Thomas. He swings a mean left. Both these boys are in the same trade. Hughes calls himself a joiner, Thomas calls himself a carpenter. I suspect they're one and the same thing. If they're not, I've no doubt somebody will write in and tell me. Well, some clever weaving by Thomas on the ropes, keeping himself out of trouble. He's still swinging that left hand, and if Hughes walks onto that left full-blooded, he'll be in trouble. He's pushed him over. Yeah, he pushed him, he said, the referee. Hughes takes another left in the chin. These two are determined to slog it out. I wonder if it'll go the full 3 rounds. Hughes is an out-and-out fighter, prepared to take anything to get his own punch across. And of the two, Thomas looks rather the more weary as he goes back to his corner to join his man in the corner, the famous Pete Hanlon. There he is, blonde Pete, who was the captain of our British Olympic boxing team in Moscow in 1980, and of course himself won 2 of these ABA titles at featherweight in 1979 and again in 81. Pete Hanlon from the Gloucester Club in the corner with Thomas. This is Hughes, the out-and-out slugger. He really does like to go in and have a go. A carpenter from Highgate, brilliant junior. He won a National Association of Boys Clubs title and also won 2 ABA junior titles. So a lot of good form behind him, and a lot of hurt men have been left behind him too, believe me. Mickey Hughes from St Pancras. Well, we could have some exciting stuff in these last 3 minutes. Thomas, the black-skinned southpaw from Gloucester, and Hughes, in the dark vest, from London. He's being told to hit with the right part of the glove. Oh, he's got him with the left. He walked right onto it. That was a speculative left hand. He walked right into it, and he's totally startled and stunned, and he's only just beaten the count at that. That was extraordinary. That left came round the corner. And Hughes is going for the finish. Hughes is cut on the bridge of his nose. Last round. Thomas still feeling the effects of that punch. He's got his wits about him and he's keeping his lead going. But he's on very weak legs and a standing count. So a knockdown and a standing count against Thomas in this closing round. On he goes, straight into a right. And he's got him this time. That's it. Back to the ropes, on his knees. Signalled over before he touched down. All over. Brave man beaten. But Thomas is another victim of this man who punches so hard. And this is going to be a man we shall hear about a lot in the future. He's a brawler, but my word, he can hit. Mickey Hughes from St Pancras, who has chalked up quite a few of these inside the distance wins on the way to the title. We can see it all again. The right hand did the damage at the end. He only just missed that one. He backed himself up against the ropes. And Hughes went for him, and that final right hand did it all. It was all over even before Thomas's knees hit the deck. So Mickey Hughes, 21 years old, from the St Pancras Club, which incidentally is going through a not too good a time. They need a new gym, and well, maybe Hughes is a good advertisement for them, and some people will rally around the St Pancras Club. Anyway, Hughes is the champion, but a valiant loser in Thomas.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee has stopped the contest. The winner and champion at welterweight in the 1984 national finals, Hughes, red corner.
Well, I've been joined at the ringside now by our national coach, Kevin Hickey. He, of course, is the man who will be taking the British team to Los Angeles for the Olympic Games. This is an important night, Kevin. Let's talk a little bit about what's happened so far, how you've seen the form, and let's start with John Lyon, who's won his 4th title in a row at light flyweight.
I think it was very impressive, Harry. I was very pleased. I think that John has got maturity. He's got a fair range of boxing skills, and tonight he was somewhere near his peak. He's got a bit of slack rope to pull in yet, and I think that's important, because as important as the ABA finals are, then our job really is in training camp to produce something for Super League competition, and John Lyon, I think, has got his all-round boxing ability.
Now, Pat Clinton, he won the flyweight title, the Scots boy. What did you think of that?
I think Pat Clinton's got a lot of natural ability. I had him over in the States last year, and he performed with great credit against the world champion in his own backyard, which is something. Tonight, I think he showed his excellent timing. He's got all-round boxing skills. He's an awkward southpaw. He's strong, and I think he'd be a very worthy Olympic candidate if the selectors decide.
Now, John Hyland, he kept his title, but he didn't look too impressive tonight, I thought.
He didn't indeed, no. I think he won the first round comfortably, and then he lost control. Now, whether it was loss of concentration or Anderson coming back at him, I'm not quite sure. He's got a lot more form to show. He's capable of far more in terms of ability. His southpaw skills, I think, will present problems for any opponent, but tonight we didn't certainly see him at his best.
That last contest we were looking at, Michael Hughes. Now, here's a boy who does like to throw a punch, and of course he got it through in the end and won. What do you think of him?
Well, exciting is the word. I think that he was absolutely determined. That ABA title was in front of his eyes, and he was out there to take it at all costs. Explosive punching power, and anybody can hit as hard as Michael Hughes can, then he must be in with a chance with anybody.
Now, let's look ahead. We've got 5 finals still to come, and I know people like to talk about the big lads, so can we just have a word or two perhaps on the heavyweights to start with? We've got we've got John Ferrugia and Dougie Young in the heavyweights.
I think it's wide open. We've got 2 relatively inexperienced heavyweights. The English heavyweight has disappeared out of sight, so that leaves it a fairly closed contest as far as we're concerned in the English camp. But from the British point of view, it's an even money bet, really. You couldn't pick your winner. I think it's perhaps of the remaining bout the one that's most open.
And what about the real big boys, the super heavies?
Well, the super heavies, we've got, they're a very exciting confrontation. They've met once before. Billy Wells got the decision over Everett McLean last time. And I think there we've got a really exciting contest. I think it's usually the super heavies that tends to be the last one on the card, and people sort of start walking towards the exit, start thinking about trains and tubes. But tonight, I think it's going to be an exciting bout.
Now, I've left the man I think most people consider to be the most exciting prospect in this country. I've left him to the end. Rod Douglas. We should be seeing him very shortly. Now, what do you make of him?
Rod Douglas has got that little bit of extra special quality. He's the one that came through really from last year's ABA finals. He won a Commonwealth gold medal in Belfast in September. He's beaten East Germans, West Germans since then. He's exciting, there's no two ways about it. He's got that extra magic quality that if you're talking about Olympic medals, then I'm hoping that when it comes to Los Angeles and the quarterfinals and 1 to go, that Rod Douglas is there, because he can hit, he can box. He's got by no means an easy contest tonight, and he's also one I think that's got his best to show yet. And in the latter round of the championships, I think he's shown that the sparkle is yet to come, and tonight we might well see it.
Okay, Kevin, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thanks, Harry, very much.
And indeed, Rod Douglas is the next boxer we're going to see. He's in the light middleweight final, defending his title, and the man he meets tonight is Neil Munn from Wales. And here he is, Rod Douglas, black skin from St George's Club in East London, the top prospect in Britain. And the man he faces, Neil Munn of Wales from the Grange Catholic Club. I suppose he's got the most unenviable task of the night. He's 20, Munn. Douglas is 19. Oh, he's got him! Oh, left hand. First punch he's thrown, straight on the chin, and Douglas, the top prospect in Britain, is on the floor. What do you know about that? And Munn now is within a punch or two of creating a total sensation. Douglas must have felt as though the roof had fallen in. Extraordinary. You might make Munn pay for that. Neil Munn, a builder from Cardiff, just produced the punch of the night. Broad shoulders on him, Munn. Looks as though he might produce another left like that. What a good combination by Douglas, just warming to his task now after that nearly disastrous start. Oh, he's got him. I think Munn might have gone over there if he hadn't been propped up by Douglas. Well, talk about somebody who's not awed by an opponent's reputation. Mr. Munn, either he hasn't heard about Douglas or he doesn't care. Oh, what an extraordinary start that was. And Douglas gives a little shake of his head, as much to say, what am I doing getting knocked down? But knocked down he most certainly was. Rod Douglas, the reigning champion, and the man that most of Britain's Olympic hopes are built on. Now, let's have another look at what happened to him in the opening few seconds. He walked onto a sneak punch, caught cold. There it was. The right first, and then the left was the one that put him down. A neat little left hook. Well, he recovered from it well, and towards the end he was threatening Munn with all sorts of punches himself. Here's Nunn, the Grange Catholic Club, a builder from Cardiff. Well, I wonder if he can produce another surprise like that in the second round. Douglas notably has got his right hand cocked up very high near his chin. He does tend to let that right hand wander away from his chin when he leads with his left. That's one of the cardinal errors. Good right, caught Munn. And Munn is coming under heavy fire now. But he's a big, well-built lad. Rod Douglas hasn't lost a contest since November 1982. And the final here last year on points against Johnny Melfar of Gloucester. Since then he's won a gold medal in the Commonwealth Federation Championships in Belfast, and he's won for England against East and West Germany. He stopped his East German opponent in 2 rounds, a man called Ralph Hunger, and Hunger was the reigning European silver medalist. Is quite prepared to stand there and swap punches with Douglas. Tremendous performance by this Welshman. He's very nearly giving as good as he's getting. Blood from Douglas's nose. And Douglas has found himself in a very much tougher final than he could ever have expected. Strong, he's got a good left hook, and he's quite nimble on his feet. Douglas most certainly knows he's in a hard contest. Take it from me. Born in Bow in East London, born of West Indian parents, trained as a draftsman, currently unemployed. There was some good stuff in this second round. And this is a bit of it. Punches being swapped at a furious rate. And Munn was always threatening to come back with good stuff. So here's the surprise packet of the night. Neil Munn, Welsh champion for the first time. Never ever faced a night like this in his life. And what he did in that first round when he put Douglas on the floor was really quite exceptional. Must have given the British Olympic selectors a nasty shock, I can tell you. The last 3 minutes then of this light middleweight championship with the reigning champion, the black-skinned Rod Douglas from St George's Club in London, against the Welsh champion Neil Munn. Douglas has been on the floor in the first round from a left hook, but has just about been on top for the rest of the contest. Been a long season for Douglas, and I suspect he may be feeling it. He certainly looks to me as though he's not quite at his best. And it has been a very long season, which for him, it's gone right back to last September. And that's a long time to keep your form. Douglas's identification sash not coming loose, but Douglas has stepped up his work rate considerably. And Munn now is having to skedaddle all around this ring to keep out of harm's way. What a strong boy Munn is, but he's under heavy fire, and the referee's going to give him a standing count. He was taking quite a lot of punishment. The crowd don't like it, but I think the referee was right in that case. He was under a lot of punishment. So from an almost sensational beginning, and very nearly facing defeat, Douglas has boxed and fought his way right back into this, and now finishes well on top. And it's all over. Well, that was a good performance in the end by Douglas, because he had to come back from a terrible shock at the start. It really must have shaken him up when he walked onto that left hook. But he's overcome it and come back, and here's one of the heroes of the night, Neil Munn. No matter which way this has gone, Munn will never forget the moment he put the champion on the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by unanimous decision and champion at light middleweight in the 1984 national finals, Douglas, red corner.
Douglas retains his title. But my word, what a shock he had in the opening seconds of that contest. But he's champion for the second year running and retains his place as the best bet for an Olympic medal for Britain in Los Angeles.